If you're a general practitioner or family medicine practitioner from a country outside of Australia and wondering whether you're eligible to practice as a GP in Australia, there's an easy way to find out. So here I am on the RACGP website, that's the Royal Australasian College of General Practitioners, and I'm going to show you how you can work out if you're eligible to practice as a GP in Australia. Now there are two main routes or pathways to becoming a general practitioner in Australia if you are an international medical graduate, an overseas trained doctor. One is through a pathway of getting your qualifications recognised in Australia, so your overseas qualifications recognised in Australia. I'm going to show you how you can work that out shortly. The other second pathway is to go through the AMC standard pathway route and apply for general practice training. So if you're interested in that pathway, I'll put a link probably up here as well, but also to a video about the standard pathway in the description below. But we're focusing in on if you're an existing general practitioner or family medicine practitioner with qualifications from another country and you're wondering if you are eligible to practice in Australia and want to go through the assessment through the main college for general practice in Australia, which is the RACGP. So here we are on the RACGP website. We simply click on the button that says education. That will give us a second header. Go down here and we can see some various options. We obviously want the IMG, International Medical Graduates option. We'll click on that to see what else is revealed. We've got a third mega menu, I think they call them these days. Now it gets a little bit confusing because there's lots of options here, but don't want this one. We want the fellowship program for IMGs. We click on that and we can see that we come to a landing page about fellowship programs for IMGs. And there's one option to find out more about the practice experience programs. So we'll click on that as well. We want the middle one here, the practice experience program specialist training. So this is, as you can read, the journey to fellowship of the RACGP, FRACGP fellowship of the Royal Australasian College, the Royal Australian College for General Practitioners for international medical graduates with overseas specialist qualifications. So we click on this, we get to a page which has lots of information about the program, applying for it, comparability assessment, eligibility, etc. Now you'd think if you went to the comparability assessment that would tell you if you're comparable. It's not the right button to click on here. We want to go to eligibility, and so there's information about the comparability assessment, job offer approval, etc. We want to skip down to the right to work application. Now I should say that just because you might see your qualification on this list doesn't necessarily mean they will specifically approve you, but it's a likely test that you are eligible. So if you've watched any of my specialist pathway videos so far on YouTube, you'll know that 3 outcomes after being assessed by the college are substantially comparable, which generally means you are within 12 months of being recognised and need to do 12 months supervised in a post before going on to achieve fellowship. Partially comparable, which means you're within 2 years, which means you generally need 2 years supervision and probably to sit some examinations you do with the College of General Practice. Or not comparable, which means the specialist pathway route is not for you. So we can see at the moment the RACGP, this is a kind of a new version of their program. So they've been going through assessing a number of programs from overseas. We can see by clicking on the chevron what are listed as substantially comparable. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 programs currently. Canadian program, the Hong Kong Island, UK, New Zealand, etc. So these are all programs that are seen as substantially comparable to the RACGP curriculum, if you like. And this is a different approach because this is the only college that does it this way. The other specialty colleges assess you and the program you did, not the program first and then look at your other credentials. So there's, what do we say, there were 8 listed there. So if your qualification is listed there, you've got a very strong chance of being seen as substantially comparable. You've got a high employability chance because, well, you do actually if you're partially comparable in general practice as well, but definitely got a good chance of finding an employment option. If you're any of those categories and you're looking for some help, please reach out to me. I'll leave a link to how you can do that in the description below. I may well be able to help you out with some advice and also plugging you into, say, a medical recruitment company that might be able to help you get the sort of job that you're looking for. Then we have the partially comparable group. There's only 4 on the list: Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, US. Interesting that the US boards are only seen as partially comparable. I think that's because about Well, it might be due to the length of training. I don't know. I haven't looked at the length of training for the American board versus the RACGP. So there's 4 listed there. Again, if you're in any of those groups, you're in a pretty good stead. And again, I may well be able to assist you if you're looking for advice or suggestions about where to find jobs. Regardless of whether you're substantially comparable or partially comparable, to get a job, you will first need to go through this route, so the employers will be interested in knowing what your RACGP outcome was. And finally, then the college has assessed a number of curriculum as not comparable. Now, we'll click on this and you can see there's a large growing list, including some ones that you kind of might find interesting, like the DMB in India is not comparable, nor is the international membership of the Royal College of General Practitioners, and that's because that is an exam that you sit, but it's not linked to training and assessment through training, and a number of others are listed there as not comparable. So if you're in that group, you're not eligible through this route. There are other routes. There used to be a practice experience program that's on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, but there's also the standard pathway process. Finally, if you don't see your qualification or curricula listed, that means the RACGP hasn't had an opportunity to review it yet, probably because no one from that particular country has applied. So you'll be the trailblazer likely. So if it's not listed, you can ask them to assess it, and there's some details about how you do this, and that is free. Okay, it's one of the few things in all these processes that's free. I guess that's only fair because if you're the first one, you're paying for it, and then everyone else doesn't have to. So you can send in the details to the RACGP and ask them to review it, and as they say down below, curriculum assessments take up to 10 weeks to assess. So that is how you can work out if you are comparable as a specialist general practitioner in Australia and therefore can work as a GP in Australia. As I said, if you're in any of those substantially or partially comparable groups, it's likely I can help you out with your journey. I'd encourage you to contact me and we can see how you can help you in your desire to work in Australia. Also, a reminder that I am currently facilitating a webinar series with the RACGP, and I'll put a link in the description below to the next one coming up, which is in a couple of weeks' time. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.